Menemo. I have fuck it. Ngame tak better with international no. My friend is all freestyle, but in my bed with different storylines, with different punchlines. A Jongzo and a more universal rapper.
AJ
Bazoo
on the track.
Namti no onuru bango no obasa dara pombe ne kaba me miracle but chini ma rap zaka chini mo raska menemo angwa amabere nangaton akabere on YouTube tere kona indon tikirani life is strong alive na ton baton menemo awa wene bere kap wele wene kaberi awa wene kera no chumbe wene ka keri binga saka mo baka chini mo waga ma fete ma bana cha mo kumu binga kam ina backup ma jam baba sanga nu de ma hankop mu nuru fu ya catalyst da boost mu rapping nang tara gidin bene ga mangam kana me kwana ki mo mo zo ngana mo eta ke benon kam nganta ka beti ta manyenye mero chum siga bana weta ngama benga yini ngama nan ko anga oven rap ne ka for mo jogo basa ga ambu mu tingup chini ma wakuru isingup ngom mbano ira baziran jini ba imba ngom no ira baziran jizam gama zama bupe baziran jini ga taba ngani ngam mo wakanjiri bo rap ngama benga woni ga benga mazama buko benga uza kwara ve shoto ne beg zama za obi the next bonga woni the next move prende the crest aber tab chom tuo chom giru chom fe chom sima faga ne ay mo mbone to joga banu mu ye mo mbone te beru jutom menemo mo ngom na sa tenano man ana pigeon Bazoo. Listen, I'm a fucker when I don't man. When I walk up past the side, been a strong man. You wanna know why I don't believe in a woman. No need them bang guys, car been and their man, eh? Job to be frank, you be grand, I follow for your back, no say give I'm a rank. If you be colonel, I been a jidang. If not for marathon, I don't say me I dem a dang. Thanks to the rubber boy, you still walk up a grand. That guy with the videos on my trunk for the man. I'm a made for the walla abapa, and from Gola, go bolo, or I do for any ton and a dollar. If I'm palaba, you know, so I go bring matter. I did rap at the sing when I clap my mother. Inside my era, man, no say I be best rapper. I been to the party, cause me say me a smooth banger. Why other instances of couple with your daughter? We all find somewhere, please stay in your choppers. I win can audition, they give me a condition there. I work a fine job, they say my involved. Me I give a lift map, me I give a lift scar, me I give a sing song with Mendele Pascal. Now small I go turn superstar. Win all the guy they for part like Popo. Me I been a Joe, I been a old school, I they go school. Sometimes I then I go smooth and I need something for boost smooth so that my profit go smooth. Hope you feel me, eh? I get rhyme scheme and a fine thing when I thank me, invite me for your party. I go rap total, you go dash me a cocky. Menemo. Man I plan to it and it's strong now. Let me give you something in English. Ambazua. I hustle for breakfast, lunch and supper. My family, great-grandsons and daughters, for bachelors, widows, and even the orphans for the sick, poor people in my village and the others for the deaf, for the dumb, and the blind, and the physically disabled who can't feel my rap in one way or the other. Menemo. Yeah, it's the fucker. Salute to all rappers worldwide. A big shout out to Black Gun Records, Fonsa Music, all my G's in Bengui, Abakwa, Kumba. Mochara wen bemejum Borobo kunenem bemejum AJ confirm
Black Gang Records.
Una good afternoon, fellow Ambazonians. Una good evening, our country people them. Our brothers and sisters and friends of Ambazonia. I be una brother Lucas Asu, we are the press secretary for the executive office for Ambazonia Governing Council. Una come well, una come good. We get a lot for talk for our people them today. The thing we want to talk them today, now one of the most important thing with the Ambazonian people, they need for understand them, they need for get the message, and they need for apply what we tell them today. For the Ambazonian people, them for be free. Yes, Ambazonia get right for self-determination. Ambazonia get right for freedom. Ambazonia get right for sovereignty. But all those rights, they exist in the context of the international system. So we get to understand how our rights, they also get to work together with the international system. Our rights alone, our demand alone, if we take it for go for place where we want to go. We also need to factor in what the international system it want them, what they need them from Ambazonia. The bridging of Ambazonia right to self-determination and freedom and the interest of the international system. When you bridge them, it guarantee Ambazonia independence. But I go take una go for the before we go for the make a give una what they happen within the international system. Make a tell una a lot of things that happen around the globe. They will not be what you think say it be. They will not be as static as you think say it be. Every moment, the world, it change. It go up, it go left, it go right. But one thing be very certain. The world, the life, it take a progressive upward journey. The journey of life, now for go up, not before go down. The journey of life, now for expand, not before contract. Any person with the one make life a contract, now yourself, it go shrink. All right? The principle of life, the way God don't make life, the way life, it make life, now for constant expansion. And now for here, the Ambazonian people, the aspiration, they fit in. Now make we take now enter inside which they make the biggest news for the world right now. Inside the United States of America, a law way don't exist since 1973. Today, the Supreme Court for the American people, the Supreme Court of the United States of America, it don't bring down a law where it don't exist since 1973. The law where they call and say Roe versus Wade for America, when I be give rights for women them, for make the choice when they be pregnant, whether they want born or they want keep the pikin. I mean, whether they want keep the pikin, whether they want keep the pregnancy, or they want make other choices where it relate to their health. Oops, I should talk too fast sometimes. Where it relate to their health. The Supreme Court of the United States today, it don't come out. It broke down a law where it don't exist since 1973. The law where they call and say the ruling where the Supreme Court of the US it be making for 1973 where they call and say Roe versus Wade. A decision where be give women them the right for choose if they want make for move belly because for whatever reason or if you give them that right. Today, that law, almost 50 years later, that law, it don't be taken down. The Supreme Court of the United States, it don't put Roe versus Wade aside, and it give now all powers not only to the states within the United States, not only those states them if make the decision. They talk to the federal government of America, and if he impose with the country and the people they get for be. Now the thing that we don't happen for the Supreme Court for America today. Also today, from yesterday, the Commonwealth head of states, from yesterday they don't gather for Rwanda for their yearly coming together for all the Commonwealth nations for promote the values of Commonwealth, for uphold the values of Commonwealth, and for discuss among themselves how the nations of the Commonwealth they fit work together for global peace, for global security, but most importantly for the progress of the nations of Commonwealth. All the nations then, the countries them of the Commonwealth, they meet up for Kigali, for Rwanda, for the Commonwealth heads of governments. Also, today, as we don't see him, the president of the Rwanda president, he welcome all the head of state them for day. As when I see him, the Secretary General for the Commonwealth, it will be the day when I see for day. The Canadian Prime Minister, Mr. Justin Trudeau, it too is there for day. The British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, it too is there for day. And yesterday, the Canadian Prime Minister, he apologized for the people of Rwanda, said the world not be act as fast as possible for stop the genocide for Rwanda people them, and maybe take the time for talk say the world not will live and make these kind of things that happen again. But unfortunately, these kind of things that they happen right in front of their own eye. Even when they talk say they don't want to make these kind of things that begin to happen, these things that they happen right inside Ambazonia, inside the continent. But the question we got for ask and I say, why it be say the Cameroon colonial dictator, why Mr. Paul Biya did run from these events? Why Mr. Paul Biya, the butcher of Ambazonians, why be say for these events? Why be say Mr. Paul Biya they run away from this event? Why be say the Cameroon government they run away from this event? They send now only very low-level delegations for this type events. They know why. They know why they run. That one at subject we will talk about tomorrow. Now, the Ambazonian people, they want freedom. Ambazonian people, they want independence. Ambazonian people, they want sovereignty. Ambazonian people, they want a state of their own. It be enshrined for international rights, international law. The Ambazonian people as a people, they get the right for that country when they're their country, for the land of their own birth. Since the land manipulation be happen within the international system, and they take the Ambazonian sovereignty, the certificate of sovereignty for 1961, instead of give for the Ambazonian people them, they take them, they give them for La République du Cameroon. And from that time, Cameroon they take ownership of Ambazonia. Now in Ambazonia, they go through a liberation war. Cameroon don't wage a war on the Ambazonian people them. Cameroon they commit genocide on the Ambazonian people them for force them for surrender their rights. Now, with all this fighting and the progress and the determination and the commitment of our people then, with all the efforts with the Ambazonian people that they put up, with all the cry with our people that they cry and ask the international community for intervention or for a negotiated settlement, for stop this carnage and for bring justice. Some very important things the day we get for Noam, and all we get for the work towards those things. What right for exist as a people, it also get for be factor in with how the world it function. In order for you for win any game, whether not the game of football, whether not the game of basketball, whether not the game of business, whether not the game of economics, whether any game where you want play and you want win, whether not for boxing or na war, any game you get rules. Every game for life, it get well established and well-defined rules. For football, if you want to win football, the first thing I say you must study the rules. My throat is scratch. No matter how good of a player you be, if you don't know the rules, the person who know the rules, maybe not even be better than you, it will always win. We must understand the rules of the international system. We must understand how the international system will work. We must understand how the international system will function. We must understand how it work. If you don't understand the rules, the reason where this man, Zelensky of Ukraine, it don't be the most inspiring leader for this period. Now because he don't master the art of the international system. Now because he don't master the rules of the international system. So he play the rules, not be based on the rules where he want to create them or he want to reinvent them. He play the rules as they already exist, and he use the art of influence. Usually I don't like for bring certain things and for when I do my advocacy, but for the purpose of public education, for you for influence a leader of another country, you must already know what the influence, what the already influence, and what be the interest of a country. If you want influence the United Kingdom, you must know what it be the priorities of the United Kingdom, and what the influence them, and what be their own interest. If you want influence Paul Kagame of Rwanda, you must know what the already influence Paul Kagame. You must know what be the interest of the Rwandan people then. as much as we as a people, because of the pain we would feel am, it make we over the last 5 years will be ineffective for our persuasion. The pain, it cloud our judgment, it cloud our ability for be persuasive. For persuasion, in the context of persuasion, you dey persuade people them now based on what they already believe them, based on what they already accept them, and based on what they already value. So Ambazonian people them in the past they be very ineffective because of the pain. When they want go talk for the Americans, they go cry. Oh, Pobia the Kiwa people them. Oh, Pobia they commit human rights abuses. Oh, Pobia they commit atrocities. Now how that one concern America? How it concern America? How Pobia a crimes for Ambazonia concern America? When you meet up an American official, your first instinct now say you cry, say that they kill your people there. All the videos then we don't watch them, all the speeches then we don't watch them. Anytime we meet up, the US, the UN, African Union, anything, the first instinct, that they kill our people them, that they kill our people them, when I do something, when I do something, when I do something. Now you go, now for go complain, now for go cry, make they do something based on what? Say they just because they kill your people there? How it concern them? When you meet up British officials, the first thing, oh, they kill our people them. Oh, they kill our people them. Oh, now when I put we for this trouble. Oh, now when I put we for this trouble. If we not be do the fraud and the manipulation and give we for Cameroon, our people not for go through this. Now you tell me, when you don't lambast somebody, you abuse somebody, you put it for a very uncomfortable situation based on a certain historical facts. And then you want me to listen for you? You want me to listen for you? How all your complaints them, they concern you. The killings of Ambazonia for Ambazonia, not been at the killings of the British. Where when you meet up a British official, you get to bring them for in front. A priority na the British people. A priority na the United Kingdom. A priority not be Ambazonia. A priority not be Ambazonia. So if you meet up them and your priority na for go complain, na for go lambast, na for go cry, you preach the wrong gospel to the wrong people. You use a wrong language, a wrong approach. And that's why most diplomatic things they need to make progress. Why are they bring this one to an attention? Because people they continue to make the same mistakes. The international system it function based on interest. The international system it function today now based on interest. No human being, no country go listen for you if you go there and go cry about what they do and for your people then. And you need to think about their own interest. Okay? And you need to think about their own interest. Any person, any government, any state, excuse me, any official where you meet up here, if you want influence, see, make it listen for you, make it pay attention to you, make it even hear what they go on with your people then, you must first go there, now for go get a discussion, for see how your conversation, it go advance their interest. Now listen, any man where you want go talk for you, for influence, for listen for your case. The world is a very selfish place. The world is a very selfish place. Every country, it want to protect and advance their interest. Now, they are number one priority that. So, for influence them, you dey go on the table. You dey go on the table now with a value. You got to go for their table with a value for which you want Adam for their interest. Now, how your cause it go protect their interest. Now, how your cause it go add value to their interest. Now, how your cause it go advance their interest. Now, how you feel help them, make them promote, advance, and expand their interest through your efforts. Now, the first time this had bring the art of influence into this kind of discussion. The art of influence. For influence any person, we take them in the context of woman and man. If a man meet up a woman, the first thing you go talk now when you meet up a girl, because are the same thing. The first thing you go talk now about all what you want them. Oh, I want this, I want this. You just meet up a girl. I want this, 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 I want this. Or now they complain of what your ex be doing for you. Or the first thing we meet up is now for entice about how you're coming into her life. It will bring more fun. It will bring more peace for her life. It will bring more development for her life. It will bring more progress for her life. It will bring more security for her life. And how you feel you are coming into her life. And the reason why you like it, now because you don't see something way as if you bring one together, it go help that girl. More talk say that girl want married. More talk say want picking them. More talk say want a good family. More talk say want a stable family. Your goal now how for position and yes and sell yourself for fulfill your own aspirations, your own needs, your own desire before you even talk about what you want them from that relationship. Not be na so they do am. Na so men that they do am. Na so woman that they do am. Why would I think say be very different from diplomacy? Why would I think say be very different from diplomacy? So the reason in the past where most of una so-called leaders where una get them, all right, they need to make progress and nobody they pay attention to them. Now because they never study the art of persuasion. Now only very few of them they get the real attention where una think say una deserve them. And that's why the Ambazonian liberation struggle, it don't be stuck diplomatically until recently where Dr. Abacho changed the game for the Ambazonian people there. That's why most people don't want to hear this story. Even if they want to hear them, they only hear them for just for humanitarian interest. And that's why they only issue statements. And there is no real action. Because we need to follow the principles of persuasion, the principles of influence. Now again, this we don't be inside for the last decade at the highest level. So I need to talk for you like some Joe Blow for street. All right? I need to talk for you like some Joe Blow for street. Now again, this way we don't help CEOs of major companies on these processes. So they try to take them, for put them for our own context. And so falling in love, wait, you don't hang my throat today. Falling in love, getting into a relationship, you get to understand. We not do the same thing naturally, but now you get to adopt them for a new context if you want to be influential and if you want to achieve impact. Why this one be important? It be important for we as a people. The historical facts, they do on our side, but the historical facts, the international community not give a fuck about the historical facts. I beg, excuse my language, I just use this language for send out a strong message based on the seriousness of the matter. That's why they use this intense psychological language. The international community not give so much a fuck about the human rights abuses, all right? The international community not care. Me, you not think so they care. They not really care. The only thing where they care about the most, human rights, human rights, all those things now a cover up for interest. Human rights now cover up for interest. All those things are a flash. All those things say human rights na flash for interest. The Western system create all those things as a flash for soften the environment for international transaction and international commerce. Okay? The real game behind human rights and all these things now for advance international interest, international commerce, and international business. So once you understand, say these things will be important, now you get to play the game the way they already create them. Now then create the rules of the game, right? Now then they create the rules of the game. So you get to understand the game where they create them and the rules where they set them up, and then you use them consistently for help them for advance their own interest while you secure your own interest. For the freedom for Ambazonian people, them for be free, number one, the Gulf of Guinea be fucked up. The Central African region be fucked up. So number one, your goal now for sell to the French. If you look for the French, they don't lose Central African Republic to these people, then how they call them? To Russian. The Russian don't take over Central African Republic. The Russian, they take over Mali. So the French, their interest for Africa, they be shrink down. So if you want to get the French on board, the French, they don't get a good relationship anymore with La République du Cameroon. So how you get the French on board? You get to get the French on board by pointing to them. Say their interest for Mali, it don't be shrink. Their interest for Central Africa don't be shrink. You want make the French they work with you for promote French interest and French businesses for the new environment where you the creator. Now you go get the attention. But if you go there and you say, oh, now when the support power be people them, first of all, they go close the mental door, they go close the psychological door, they go close the listening door. They go only be there, just they shake their foot, but they need listen to you anymore. So you must figure out how you help the French forget their interest through you, secure their interest through you, while you achieve what you want. The world work on partnerships. If you no want to go down that route, then I'll be very sorry, you go lose the game. Now partnerships. How? Even though they be support La République du Cameroon, but how now today they feel be a new partner to the Ambazonian people them. A new better partner based on mutual benefits. Now the thing I go for. Sorry. I get a minor cold. So now forgive me. So how you help them? For secure, protect their interest, advance their interest, while they help you for achieve what you want them. Now the same with the British. If you go with the British with a stupid attitude, for go blame them, for go coach them, for saying that then they put your big papa them for all these things, now then they do these things, the reason why they suffer now because they go close the psychological door, they close the mental door, they close the listening door, they just shut you out. And all what they do, they wait for time for you to get the fuck out of their office. If you go there, you get to find out what the British people they want them. Why the British people they be interested for the Gulf of Guinea. What it matter to the British people. And you go there and say, look, because of Cameroon, through Cameroon, we never ever fit for secure the kind international peace, security, and stability where una want them. So una continuous support of Cameroon, it be at a disadvantage to British international or companies. Una companies that they pay so much money for operate for places where they not be supposed to they pay money because of instability. Paul Biya don't create an environment of instability. We want to protect British interest, advance British interest, and be the new partner for the British people them and the British international multinational businesses. We want to create an environment where the British people they feel make investment and the environment be so stable. The investment they will become profitable to the British people them, and through their investment, while people they will also benefit for employment, they will benefit from the new technology with the British companies that they bring them. Through this exchange of culture, we go help to preserve the British value system. Now you get their interest. Now you get their interest. Now the same with the United States. Now the same with Canada. Now the game this. It's a game of interest. Now a game of mutual interest. Every country, they try to advance their own value system, advance their culture, and advance the interest for their multinational companies. So you get to go for the table with the value for help them to achieve those things, and in the process, you get what you want them. For you forget what you want them, you must help them again with it and they want them, and then you get what you want them. Now the game of interest that. Zelensky, make we go back for Zelensky. Una don't see what Zelensky did one. When Zelensky did talk for the Canadian government, we need to address the Canadian House of Commons. And Zelensky, now the only leader for the world. We don't address almost the most important, biggest democracies, the Parliament, the House of Commons, the Senate, and the government of the most important democracies for the world, for the most powerful nations, from the state of Israel to the German state, from the British House of Commons to the Canadian House of Commons to the United States. Zelensky don't use the art of persuasion for each of these countries. Then when he want to talk for them, he need to go talk for them. Say, "When I help Ukraine because Russia they attack we." He go tell them. Say, "Look, when I sabi say Ukraine is a place where we welcome Canadian companies and they come in can do business. Ukraine is a place where Canadian interests will be protected. And so, our country don't be under attack. Now the Canadian businesses for Ukraine to go suffer. We need one help for push Russian out so that more Canadian companies if it come in for Ukraine, for invest for Ukraine, and the Canadian people they feel they visit Ukraine and see Ukraine as a friend to Canada. So today I don't come for the Canadian government for come back for help, for protect the interest of Canada, for protect the values where the Canadian people they stand on, for protect the rule of international law, and for protect the interest of international transaction, for maintain peace, security, and stability for the world. Now the thing that when you go for Israel, now the same language you go tell the Israeli people them. Same. Say, hey, Israel, we don't understand what you wanna face them in the past. We don't know how painful it be as when people they be killed. Now we don't establish this important state. We if you understand why it be important for make another state and not just can invade una people and kill una people them anyhow. The Israelis companies will be one of the most powerful pharmaceutical and tech companies for the world. Una technology be needed for Ukraine. Una products, una goods, una services, they be needed for the Ukraine. Ukraine is a very important market for which una the producer. We need una help for stabilize that market and for protect that market. We need una help for push out Russia. First, Zelensky sell the vision, the values, and the interest of the Israeli people them back to Israel before he asked them for weapons. Now the same thing they do. So the reason why they bring all this thing up, now make we change the way we communicate, make we change and understand, say, what rights and the interest of the international system, the few work hand in hand. When you take that approach, we'll be more successful. Now, when I don't understand that part, make a leave for day, because when I get one leader, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, it don't change the face of our international diplomacy, because he be a master in the art of persuasion. Now a master of the game. That's why the world pays so much attention for you, and the world trusts you for lead, because they understand, say, the two systems, they must fit in as a bridge, not be only for go cry about. So the reason why they make a lot of this progress, now because he understand, as a master strategist, he understands, say, the interest of the Ambazonian people them, the wishes, the aspirations of the Ambazonian people then, it must be married with the interest of the international system for secure, promote their interest within the Ambazonian state for international peace, security, and transaction, for international business. Ambazonia need the investment of the West as a state. We need them. As we not just function in isolation. So that's why it gain a lot of attention, and they pay attention for ye. And as soon as they see the breakthroughs and we get them diplomatically. But it tell the Ambazonian people them a truth we no man no one tell them. The leader tell the Ambazonian people, say, as he meet up with the Swiss people them, where they don't talk, say, hey, they'll get some interest for see if they feel bring Ambazonia and Cameroon together. They say, no problem. We will meet up with them. And over the last 2 years, he don't talk with them, and he can't tell the Ambazonian people them the conversation he don't get on with them. Once a country come in, say now you want to take on the process of mediation or negotiation, every other person they back out. So for now the Swiss, they still there now for the top of the talks. Whether I go move forward or not, that will not be the topic for today. But the subject matter, and I say, he get a discussion. It be first of all advise the Swiss government, say, for we for take una serious. Number one, una must appoint an envoy. Una must appoint a special person when I be in charge for the discussion between Ambazonia versus Cameroon. We not fit deal with just an NGO where they call and say HD. The Swiss government from the Swiss Foreign Ministry must appoint an envoy. Now the difference between the Ambazonia Governing Council and any other movement, when they call and say movements. Because all the other one, the rush they go begin to talk with the NGO. When they come for the Governing Council tell them, say, we understand what you want time, but listen, we must play the game based on the rules with the international system set up. If now one make we take una serious, make the Swiss government appoint an envoy, and they appoint Mr. Bachelet. So last weekend, the leader, the president of Ambazonia Governing Council, and the vice president of Ambazonia Governing Council, they meet up with the Swiss envoy, Mr. Bachelet. Also in presence, the Swiss HD, the non-profit organization, HD, then to the Bidede, and a third party, another country, another government, it to be Bidede, for weakness as a weakness. The Hague of Sydney, they do nothing without a weakness within the international system. So if the Hague of Sydney meet up, now this other country, they must get another weakness. We go be there for weakness at that meeting. Because they already tell we say an Ambazonia don't secure a guarantor. That guarantor on our weakness. Any meeting will be there, that country they be there. It must be there for make sure say Conino Day. The leader already tell with this one say Ambazonia don't secure a guarantor. So any diplomatic meeting, that guarantor must be there for say Pachano Day. For say Nyama Nyama not take place. So in the presence of a third party, the the Hague of Sea, Vice President and the President and Vice President, the meet of Mr. Bachelor, the Swiss envoy, and the HD people then. At the end of that discussion, the leader put out a statement to the Ambazonian people then. Say the conclusion of the meeting, I say the Cameroon government in never still commit. The Cameroon state in never still commit. Cameroon no want justice and no want peace. The government of dictator Paul Biya in no one commit. Now so the leader tell we. So Ambazonia they get now an option. We be left to the Ambazonian people then. Now we get that option now. The Cameroon government no one commit through what they now on the table. The responsibility where the Ambazonian people they get them, as the leader tell we, Cameroon want continue with the war. The Cameroon government it be divided into two parts. One part is the tell Paul Biya say make Paul Biya go for negotiation, and then one part for the hardliners for them come for Cameroon state. They tell them say no, the military go win the war. Make you no worry. The military go win the war. Okay, someone understand. One section of Cameroon, they will still make go for negotiation now. If he help for reduce the tension. The other side they tell Paul Biya say no, and so Paul Biya being a stubborn dictator, he follow now the advice of the hardliners them, and all the hardliners them. Now the hardliners them, they be led by Okala Bilai. Ma tell you who be the core hardliners. The people where they stop make Paul Biya and the Cameroon state may they not enter into negotiation. Number one, the governor of Southwest region. Number two, the governor of Northwest region. Number three, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Mr. Tanganji Paul. Number four, the Minister of Defense, Betty Asombo. Now the core hardline of them this within the Cameroon state. Why? Okala Bilai they make a lot of money from this war. Alright? All the forces from the B to the army, to the police, to the gendarme, as long as they go within the southwest region, they order a command. So all the kidnapping for ransom, where the military they do them, the B they do them, the army they do them, most of that money is the end up for Okala Bilai. The money for weapons, with the weapons where they send them for a day, most of that money is the end up for Okala Bilai. Why you think so? Okala Bilai will be very interested for make the war stop. The war don't give Okala Bilai more power. The war don't give Lele Lafrique more power. The war don't give Atangaji more power. The war don't give Betty Asomo more power. All the generals, the general of the B, the general of gendarmes, the general of police, the commissioner of army, of police, sorry, all them, the war don't give them a lot of power and a lot of money. So because of the money and the power where they don't get them, that's why they don't want to make the war end and they don't want any negotiation. Now the thing this way they go on. I need to know these facts. Now with this being said, it be up to the Ambazonian people then for no say their country they under invasion, for no say their country they under occupation, and either we as a people we make the tough decision just like Ukraine don't make them. Russia invade Ukraine. The first thing what the Ukrainian people they do, the Ukrainian people they stop any boy picking from the age of 18 from leaving the territory of Ukraine. Any man between 18 and 60 years old must stay for defend Ukraine. The leader of our liberation, Dr. Chuayaba, he called on the Ambazonian people then. Say any man picking, any boy picking from the age of 18 must stand up for defend the Ambazonian state. We call on all the forces and all the general for recruit all Ambazonian man picking them from the age of 18 to join the Ambazonian fighting forces. For defend the Ambazonian people them, for defend Ambazonian territorial integrity and for protect the sovereignty of Ambazonia. this nonsense must end. Say not only a few men and a few women, they go defend the state. The leader don't talk, say, all man picking them from the age of 18, they must join the Ambazonian Liberation War. So all papa, they must be ready for take their man picking them, for take their boy picking them, and commit them for the liberation and the protection of the Ambazonian state, and for the defense of the Ambazonian people then. We not fit leave them, make the Cameroon colonial state, it begin to send thousands and thousands of occupation forces for destroy our people then. We not be a weak people. We must stand up and face the reality of the existential threat with the Ambazonian people that they face them. We must stand up for confront the challenge where it be in front of we. Now the responsibilities of this generation. We must pay the price of freedom. We must stand up and defend human rights. We must stand up and defend international laws. We must stand up for be the people then where they will protect this new generation. So, all boy picking them from the age of 18, all the commanders, all the generals will now do massive recruitment of Ambazonian youth into the Ambazonian army, into the Ambazonian fighting force. We must get thousands and thousands and thousands of Ambazonian where they get for stand up for defend the state, where they get for stand up for defend the Ambazonian people them, where they get for protect the Ambazonian picking them, where they get for protect our mami them and protect our communities. Never again in our lives say an invading occupation forces they go enter our communities and burn our houses, and you get boy picking them and you get man picking them. They shit on there, they watch. Stand up and defend your land. Stand up and defend when I'm picking them. Stand up and defend when I'm mami them. Why you go watch? Make an occupation forces enter inside your own community, arrest you and torture you. It be man picking who you be. It be man picking who you be. Who you be. Stand up and defend your own man pickingness. Defend your own manhood. Defend your own pride. Stand up for your land. Stand up for your community. Stand up. Tomorrow, the Ambazonia Governing Council, as they do them every month, it call on all Ambazonian people them from all over the world. Our country don't be invaded. Our country don't be occupied by foreign genocidal and terrorist army. That land get for be defended. That land get for be protected. I'll get for kick Cameroon out of our land. Tomorrow, when it's Saturday, we go be at number 25 day for this month. The governing council they do a public fundraising for mobilized resources for the defense of homeland. As the leader don't promise our people then, we'll get for put 400. Now year fine. We'll get for put 400 more automatic guns on the ground by a certain day. Ambazonian forces they train. General Efang will get 3 places then wait. They train forces them for do the work when I don't give them. When I get hope. When I get hope for this generation. When I get hope for this leadership. The leader know exactly what he need for be done and what the international community expect them for we. So tomorrow, we call on all Ambazonians. We call on all mami. We call on all papa. We call on all brothers. What are you there for ground zero? Contact me. We will give you a mobile money number for ground zero for you for make your contribution safely. Nobody need for be left out. Now the time this for we for stand for our state. Now time this for we for stand for our people them. A time where we for stand for our territorial integrity. That the generation this. So tomorrow, the fundraiser for put those guns on the ground as they generally train 400 more forces for start the work of the takeover. But they need you. Your country need you. Your community need you. Your people they need you. Your freedom need you. Your sovereignty need you. I call on all Ambazonians both on the ground zero and in the diaspora for join the Ambazonia Governing Council tomorrow. For mobilize the resources will be needed for this month, for do the work will be expected of we. While lives they be at risk, while lives they be in danger, while picking their lives they be in danger, while my men their lives they be in danger, our country be in danger. We must stand up for confront and defeat this evil. Our responsibility is. We must stand up for human dignity, we must stand up for human rights, and we must stand up for create a country will be based on the rule of law and international order. All right? Terrorism get for be defeated, colonialism get for be defeated, and foreign invasion get for be chased out of our land. That the message this will get up for now. Would you see you tomorrow, or when I get my phone number? No need for wait for tomorrow. Contact me as soon as we end this broadcast. Contact me for the number when I see them. I will direct you for any place you did for this world. But make sure say you send your contribution tomorrow. We need to raise a lot of money tomorrow for do the work we be ahead of we. And we'll get to do that work with pride. We'll get to do that work with joy. We'll get to do that work with happiness because God don't give you a responsibility and we'll fulfill that responsibility and proclaim the promise of and the glory of God on the Ambazonia people them for the Ambazonia destiny. All right? May God bless you now. When I get a good night, when I get a blessed evening, we'll see you tomorrow. But I go to wait for your call or wait for your message. All right? When I take care, may God bless you now, and may God bless the Ambazonian state.